Hello, everyone. This is Tom with the Hidden Juice Channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Yeah, it's been a few days since I did a live broadcast, but I've been really busy. But tonight, we're going to talk about staying the course, why I'm on YouTube, that type of thing. Feel like I'm informing the people and stuff. And then we're going to talk about the truth. What is the truth these days? Because it sure seems like we get two different stories all the time. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the truth and my this channel's mission on YouTube and stuff. Anyway, if you want, it's going to be about 2 minutes before I get in subject. So if you're watching the replay, you can fast forward. Hey, how's it going? Anyway, but yeah, we're going to have an interesting conversation tonight. So, but to bring up a few things with this channel, eventually I want to be able to do YouTube full time. Like I said, this channel will never sell anything, ask for donations or nothing like that. But a man's got to make a living. So when I get monetized, if YouTube would not censor my channel, my monetization would happen in a matter of weeks. But then we can let the advertisers pay for it. But I got so many things I like to do on YouTube. And, YouTube, I got another channel too. It takes up a lot of your time. So, and I got a job that I do and stuff. And anyway, but I like to get to the point where I'm actually able to put out better content, have a studio, that type of stuff. Maybe not sit there and work 2.5 hours from where I live and stuff. Yeah. So, I got a couple people showing up. So let's talk about why I'm on YouTube. My live streams, when they get comments get going and stuff, there's some pretty hateful comments on there. People are full of hate. And there's one thing in today's world, you don't have to listen to what people have to say. You can always change the channel. But that's not going to dissuade me from being on here, because there are people that come on here that agree with me, that feel that they're alone in this world. They just got somebody actually be feeling the way I do, think the way I do, but they can't get out on social media. I believe everybody should have a YouTube channel. I would love it if everybody had a YouTube channel or some type of social media platform channel where you could go out and give your opinion, okay? Show your face. Don't hide behind a mask. Get all our opinions out there. Get discussing the things that need to be discussed in this country. But all the hate that you get on these social media platforms, I mean, comments that you see on some of these is ridiculous. The hate-filled, I don't agree with you, and they'll just sit there and slam it. And then if you're going to disagree with somebody, that's fine. Not everybody in the world's going to agree with me. That's okay. If you disagree, that's fine. But I'd like to hear your opinion. Expand my knowledge if possible. I'm not the smartest thing in the world, and I'm not even close to it. But if you want to share ideas with me, and that's what this channel is about. I'm sick of the bickering and fighting. My neighbor is not my enemy. The people who tell me my neighbor's my enemy, that's my enemy. But this is a place for ideas to come together. Like we used to do, when nobody really cared what your political affiliation was as much as they do now. I mean, holy cow, you just disagree with somebody. And then you got parties tearing themselves apart because people don't agree with each other. Well, no kidding. I mean, who in this world has somebody agreeing with everything they say? Nobody. I mean, if we had that, then husbands and wives would never get divorced because they'd always be agreeing with everything, right? I know it don't work that way. But I'm not going to be dissuaded from being on YouTube by people that don't like my opinion or say I get a little too nuts. I always say that this channel's the biggest little channel on YouTube. I get a lot of views and stuff. I get a lot of attention on my channel. You know, I don't sit there and say the sky is falling. I did do a deal with Iran, you know, after we bombed them. Is it going to bring peace, you know? But is the sky falling? You know, like some preppers. It's just like YouTube has a way of pushing stuff that divides people. That's the stuff that gets pushed out front. I mean, there's so many channels that I used to watch that I got to sit there. I got to unsubscribe, and then I got to search for them. You know, basically have to punch in the name of the video and the creator just to get something to come up. I just don't understand it. A lot of people get, hey, I don't want to deal with this no more because it takes up a lot of your time. And it's just all the work you put into it. And then by computer algorithm controls the access to your channel and stuff. Tom, you were getting ready to go into the bunker because you thought World War III was starting. Strictly Cycling. Hey, how's it going, Strictly Cycling? Well, I tell you what, they've been fighting for thousands of years now. All Donald Trump had to do was drop 14 bunker busters and it solved everything. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that all day long. That's what we're going to get into the second part of this, the truth, because that's utterly ridiculous. So, but anyway, you know, that's another thing they're pushing. Yeah, I got a feeling social media, I still look at politicians and as all-star wrestlers. Okay, at least the way it was in the 80s, right? Never watched much of it because you really like it, but the ones I did watch, when they're in front of the camera and they're screaming, and one guy's on the side of the host and the other person on the other side of the host, and they're just screaming at each other, saying this, that, and the other thing. And then after that, they all go to the bar and have a drink together and have a good time. I can't help but look at Republicans and Democrats doing the same thing, playing us back and forth. The division. I don't know. But that just seems like we're getting played sometimes, okay? Especially Bush, Kerry. Which Bush? Jeb Bush? Well, I'm sick and tired of voting for the same people all the time. Same families. We don't live in a kingdom, okay? I'm never going to vote for a Bush again. I'm definitely not going to vote for, like I say, the first politician that comes out and is running for president and can actually say we're a constitutional republic and not a democracy, and actually starts talking about how we're a constitutional republic and how they interpret the Constitution, that'll be the man, if he says the right things, who I vote or how he interprets the Constitution, that'll be the man I vote for. But we have too many people that don't even know what type of government we have. And the reason we have so many problems in this country, because they're trying to change our constitutional republic into a democracy or a democratic republic. You know, like East Germany, East Berlin, the DDR, North Korea. Anyway, but that to be the politician I vote for, okay? And I'm sick of Trump saying it. Every politician, I'm sick of the word democracy. Democracy. I mean, if we live in a true democracy, if 50% want Trump to run for president in 2028, guess what? Who cares what the Constitution says? We live in a democracy. Trump gets to run in 2028. You like your democracy still? See, in the Constitution, the Republic, the Constitution makes the rules, not the Congress and the Senate and the President as they go through the years, okay? Anyway, but, I'm not going to be swayed off YouTube. And hopefully one day, I can sit there and bring more content that I want to bring and stuff to make people laugh. But right now, in order for me to get off YouTube, the world would have to sit there and decide to go to peace and stop spending trillions of dollars on weapons for war. That'd be a good start. When I can feel safe in my own home from my own government and from countries that my government says I'm supposed to fear. Until then, I feel I got a purpose on YouTube. Spread the word. Okay? If you don't like to hear it, I don't care. Because when the truth comes, slaps you in the face, nobody's going to be there to save you. 911 ain't going to work, and your neighbors are probably going to be pissed at you. Ain't going to want nothing to do with you. So, anyway. But let's talk about the truth. The thing they find so hard to accept. Okay. Now, what's the truth on all this bombing raids they had? Did we take out the nuclear facilities or not? I guess we'll know in the near future. Now, I'm sure that they had super mega cameras on those sites from space when the bombs were going off. So if they would have seen, they dropped the bunker busters on there, and then now the entrance and the exits, they would have seen Plufa stuff. Well, they would have known it went through the whole thing. I don't know. Who knows what the truth is? But it doesn't really matter anymore, does it? Because we got nuclear nations offering Iran nuclear weapons to defend themselves. So Iran don't even have to make a nuclear weapon, just like Israel. They didn't make a nuclear weapon, but they got nukes, our nukes. So what would be wrong with Pakistan giving Iran nukes to defend themselves? North Korea will never have to deal with what Iran's dealing with right now, ever. Unless they want South Korea to, be turned into glass. And maybe a few hitting the United States. So, is that to deter what these countries are going to do? Hey, Iran, we see where you're standing now. But, they don't even have to worry about open the facilities up anymore. Say, hey, yeah, Pakistan, we'll take a couple of your nukes. I mean, how many would it take to obliterate Israel? Not too many. This is the world we live in. But don't worry, Trump made it safer. I don't understand how dropping bombs makes the world safer. I never quite figured that one out yet. Okay, because the American people always seem to be stuck in the middle. We get like in World War II, how many civilians died from bombing? And how many people from the civilian world died in the army fighting? Crazy time. One thing the United States never had to experience, right? We don't have nothing in our history books about our cities being bombed and tens of thousands of people being killed from air raids. And the one time, I don't know if many people know this, about the balloon bombs that came from Japan that hit the West Coast, both in America and Canada, because they knew about the jet stream and nobody else. Nobody else except the Japanese knew about the jet stream back then. And they put those balloons up and they're incendiary bombs and stuff. And they dropped, there were a few people killed in the United States. I don't know about Canada and stuff, but, but that was covered up, That did come out to years later about the balloon bombs. But to actually have what happens in Europe happen in this country, they only said few people got killed and stuff from the balloon bombs. I know one hit a campsite and stuff. Yeah, they started fires. But the U.S. covered it up. They weren't going to tell our population that we were, they couldn't defend against Japanese drop bombs on us. So anyway, but nowadays, oh my gosh, can you imagine what we could experience one day? I mean, Moscow's experiencing it from Ukraine. I mean, why couldn't Washington, D.C. experience this? See, people in the United States, oh, we're immune from all that. That can never happen here. I don't understand where we get that mindset. I guess I don't have it no more because when I saw the world, I realized it wasn't that way. But this is just another thing of the truth. People are lied to. We're given a false sense of security. It was smart to cover it up because panic was the motive. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Panic. What the hell do you think is going to happen in this country if we keep pushing and pushing and pushing these other countries? And Trump seems to be doing a lot of that. Okay, the war between Ukraine and Russia are between Ukraine and Russia. He doesn't have to bridle Zelensky and Putin. It's not his war. We need to leave it. If we'd leave the war would be over and Zelensky would be suing for peace. But who is Trump to sit there and come in and say, well, we paid for so much of this war, so it's going to be my way or the highway. I don't understand this mindset. It's arrogant to think that way. I mean, Trump thinks he grew up like somebody in Iran. No, he grew up a rich person in the United States. Does he know what it was like under the Shah in Iran? Wonder why these people can't stand America? Why they don't trust us? And when Trump says he don't want regime change. Really? Okay, we keep taking out their nuclear sites, and they just keep starting to back up again, and eventually they'll get to the point of building them over and over again where they can't be reached because they won't keep making the same mistake twice. Anyway, there's no way he drops 14 bombs. I just can't feel it was nothing but a dog and pony show, and Iran knew it was coming, and like I say, they're all sitting at the bar having drinks and say, hey, yeah, let's do this. And, we ain't going to sit there and tell everyone, they ain't going to get out what's really going on. It was just too. I mean, if Iran was such a pushover, Iran was more of a pushover, get this, than Iraq. Is that possible? I mean, we were at war with Iraq for many years, but just in 1990, in August when we decided we were going to go to war if they didn't leave Kuwait, till I think was January 15th or 16th of 1991 when they opened up the 30 days of bombing, okay? And there were still ground battles and stuff. You mean Iran fell so much easier than that? A few missiles, a few penetrating bombs, no ground troops at all, and it totally wiped them out? Who the hell believes that? And then they don't close the Strait of Hormuz? We've been hearing that from when I was in the Marine Corps. Oh, if you do anything with Iran, they're going to close them straits. They never even did that. They're that weak. They're that much of a paper tiger. Am I meant to believe that? I know, it's hard to swallow. It's really hard to swallow. Yep, Trump ended thousands of years of war and just by dropping 14 bombs. That night or that day, because it was a 24 operation, I'm sure. Now, obviously, that's why he sent those 30 tankers over there from the East Coast. But anyway, you know how much money that cost us? Trump is the peacemaker. I don't know. This is the thing, okay? That's not possible. That's not possible. It makes me, I know Trump ain't the Antichrist, okay? But that's the level of peacemaker ability you're trying to give to him. Now, the reason I know Trump ain't the Antichrist, because the Antichrist is supposed to unite people. Well, he don't unite people. But the peacemaker you're trying to say is what the Antichrist is supposed to, is the ability he has to bring. Okay, I don't buy for a second. So anyway, it's the truth. Who cares about the truth? I mean, now Trump is arguing with intelligence assessment. Okay, I just don't see how it's done. But if they did destroy it, and they don't take a nuclear weapon from Pakistan or whatever, they'll just make new facilities that can't be reached. Are you back? Yeah, I've been working hard. I tell you what, I've been putting in some long days, and I don't know if I wasn't feeling all that well, but my body was requiring a lot of sleep. But like you say, eventually, when I can do YouTube full time, I don't need to make a lot of money to go full time on YouTube, but I need the support. I need the subscribers. I need the thumbs up. I need the notifications, the bell icon stuff, you know, because there's lots of material I like to bring, but YouTube takes up a lot of time. But yeah, I don't know if I wasn't feeling all that well, but I really had to get some rest. The Iron Dome is now the... Well, yeah, you can't... See, they've been told, the Israelis, that that'll protect them. Okay, just like what's Trump, the Golden Dome or whatever he's talking about over basically North America. I mean, it's not going to work, okay? You can overwhelm anything. But, you know, this is war. I just can't believe what those bombers can. I mean, each bomber was 60,000 pounds, 30 tons. Even a heavy bomber in World War II only carried about 8 tons. That's crazy time. But anyway, I don't believe for a second that they were able to fly in like that to the middle of the country, basically, fly out, but not a missile being fired at them or nothing. Doesn't that seem just a little weird to you? That we were told Iran was just a powerful nation and it was weaker than Iraq? And Iraq was, I would say, backwards compared to Iran. Anyway, whatever. I guess that'll be the cheapest war we'll ever fight, huh? 14 penetrating bombs? Israel can fight its own wars. Not my problem. Exactly. That's another thing. Why are we supporting all this shit? You know, they've been fighting for thousands of years. What the hell are we getting into it for? Okay? Just another place where Trump wants to dictate his terms. I say, maybe, since they both have nukes, let them just turn each other into glass, and then maybe their future generations will know what it's like to really hate one another, that where it's bad, and they'll try to reform their ways, and generations of Muslims and Jews will finally get along. Would that be great? Sometimes you just gotta let people fight it out. But see, the thing is, they can send missiles back and forth all day long until they put boots on the ground and you have NATO troops or Israeli or American troops walking through the streets of Tehran and stuff. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? That was the dumbest idea. It wasn't meant to be sarcastic, okay? We live in a stupid world. But anyway, you know, I'm just sick of hearing the lies and stuff. I was brought up to where I had to tell the truth. I was told the truth. They didn't care what my feelings were. We were told the truth about the world. Yeah, you could be nuked by Russia at the time, at any time. You know, I didn't have to do the duck and cover under the desk, but the schools were fallout shelters. Trump is the best president to ever live. No, I disagree with that. The president that sacrificed the most and is the greatest president we ever had is the father of our country. Hands down, no question about it. Flat out. For many reasons. Not just because of the revolution, but for many reasons, because he was a man of true character, true honor, willingness to see things through under the worst of conditions. A man who knew if he lost the war, wouldn't have lived a very comfortable life. And a man that was in a position during the first year of 1776, when they were retreating up New York and stuff, that wouldn't have even wished his situation on his worst enemy. Okay? And I tell you one thing he wasn't doing. Trolling people. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of that. And people get a kick out of it. When he trolls the other side, it pisses them off. Are you the president for everybody? That's the way an arrogant piece of shit acts. A man at your age shouldn't be acting like that. I'd expect it out of a teenager. I'm so tired of seeing him trolling people. You want to troll some people? How about arrest the Epstein list people? That'd be a major trolling. That would be a great trolling. I'm so tired of that. Act presidential. And stop going to all these other countries and demanding that it's your way, or you're just going to bomb them. So our diplomacy now is either you agree with Trump and do what he says, or you get bombed. Don't see no problems coming our way. That's the truth as I see it. And frankly, Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. I completely agree. I don't think any country should be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Not a single one. But we got the U.S., we had it first. I guess we get to determine who has nuclear weapons or not. But we didn't stop North Korea now, did we? I mean, I actually thought Iran was more civilized and more advanced than North Korea was. But North Korea got the bomb, got the ICBMs to reach the United States. They never got their nuclear sites bombed. Why now with Iran? With Iran that obviously is folding up like a person going in the fetal position that's getting beat. No Air Force, nothing. No way to defend themselves. I just don't find much truth in that. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. But it just seems awful, too much like a cakewalk. And let's not forget, when George Bush landed on that carrier and said, the war in Iraq is over. And really, it had just started. Okay. Let's not forget that. Israel fold first. They won't. They got the Samson option. Thanks to the United States, they got the Samson option. You don't think they ain't going to launch their nukes just before they're being taken over? Just like you don't think the United States won't launch its nukes just before it's getting taken over? Or Russia? Or China? No country's going to allow it to be taken over without using their nuclear arsenal against their enemy. And anybody tells you different is crazy. So anyway, that's just, we'll use them. We used them once, we'll use them again. Mutually assured destruction. That's what kept us out of nuclear war for many, many decades. And now we got countries believing that they can survive a nuclear war and first strike options and come up with the best nuclear weapon, hypersonic missiles and stuff to get the edge. Well, the people, in the meantime, are stuck in the middle. Anyway, so this channel will always be here, doing my version of the truth. I don't care what political affiliation you are. I don't care what your sexual preference is. Okay? When it comes to protecting America and Americans, you're an American. Okay? I took an oath to protect the Constitution. Doesn't say the American people in that, but it should be in the oath. And when it comes down to bullets flying, you ain't going to sit there and pick and choose. Okay, how many of you are Trump supporters, conservatives, libertarians? Are you going to sit there and do that, or are you going to protect everybody? Like I said, I can't. When things get bad enough in this country, the division in this country starts dissipating, and we become a country again, like on September 12th, 2001. Remember that day? Where Congress was, or September 11th, I think they came out on steps of Congress, all together, banding together. It didn't matter what your sexual orientation was. It didn't matter what color you are. It didn't matter what nationality you were. We all were Americans for a while. This time when we bond like that against the real enemy, maybe we'll take care of that. We won't have days like that no more. By the way, see, that's another thing, the truth on that. Why do we have conspiracy theories? Because the government lies, and we all know it. Nobody trusts it. So when you're not hearing the truth, and you're able to analyze the evidence yourself, what you're allowed to see, well, you come up with your own conclusions. And I guess if you get enough people together that come up with their own conclusion, that's called a conspiracy theory. Okay? So I guess conspiracy theory would be anything that goes against the government lie. Or the government narrative, government lie, what's the difference? Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. I'll be back again tomorrow night. Like I say, I don't know if I was sick, but I was working and felt fine, but I was just really tired for a few days. And I needed a lot of sleep. So anyway, hopefully that's gone for a while. So everybody have a great night, and hopefully we're all around for us to talk again tomorrow night. But spread the word. Appreciate everybody being here. Like and subscribe. Help the channel out. And we'll all see you again tomorrow night. This is Tom. I'm out.